Hello, and welcome to another video of solving the starting point boxes for Hack the Box. In our last video, we pwned or solved the Meow box. So now we're moving on to the next box, Fawn. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to spawn the machine, which is going to give us our IP address for this box. So the tags for this box again is Linux FTP. So that's something new. And our accounts are still misconfigured. It's still not configured correctly. So we're waiting for an instance to be created. Hopefully that will happen in this lifetime. And we can get started. Okay. So while we're waiting for that, okay, we still have we have 9 tasks this time. Okay. We need to learn what is FTP. Okay. So we're doing a lot of FTP. Still waiting for our instance to be created. I'm going to let me try to refresh and see if the instance is created. We're 20% done. Cool. Okay, okay, I had to refresh for some odd reason. Yeah, because I noticed it was taking a little too long. Okay, so our IP is 10.129.77.14. Okay, so what does the 3-letter acronym FTP stand for? Let's try File Transfer Protocol. Okay, so FTP, File Transfer Protocol, is where you can upload and or download files from a server. And what communication model does FTP use architecturally speaking? So let's try client server model. Okay, so with our computer, so let's just say we're uploading something. So our computer is the client, and the document that we upload to is the server. So the server in that case will be the FTP server. And the same, conversely, if we're downloading a file, we're accessing a file from the server and we're downloading it onto our client or our computer. So, what is the name of one popular GUI FTP? So this is where we Google. Let's try FileZilla. Oh, if I can spell. Okay. Again, Google comes and saves the day. So FileZilla is a free FTP solution for both client and server. It's an open source software distributed free of charge. Okay, now what port is the FTP service active on usually? So remember, we in Meow, we use Nmap or Network Mapper to find ports and services that are open. So let's do that again with our new IP address. So we're going to go back to the terminal, which I had the which I had a trouble doing in the Meow because it was like, what do you use in the airport? And I was like, I wasn't thinking of terminal. Okay, so we're going to say nmap sv for services, and then we're going to paste our IP. VV is for verbose, it's going to print everything, and -PN is used to thwart pinging. And I'm going to add -O for operating system. Okay. So I got to use sudo for this, which is saying we need to run as root. So I'm doing -O because to see what operating system is being used. Okay, so we see open port 21. So it's retrying the OS detection. Let's see if it can find it. Okay, so it's difficulty 262. Good luck. So it really didn't find it. So no exact OS matches. So I think I'm gonna use something else. But right now, our question is, what port is the FTP service active on usually? So port 21 TCP for transfer control protocol. So 21 TCP. Okay. What acronym is used for the secure version of FTP? SFTP. So SFTP is the secure version of FTP. What is the command we can use to test our connection to the target? And again, let's see if that's ping. Right, because remember we used ping before. So if I say ping 10.129.77.14, we see, and to end it, you press Control-C, but we see that this IP address is alive because we're receiving packets back. So there were 4 packets transmitted, 4 received, 0 packets lost, meaning all packets were sent. And the time is 3005 milliseconds. Okay, so this lets us know, okay, our host is alive. Okay, from your scans, what version is FTP running? Okay, so going back to Nmap, remember we used the dash lowercase s uppercase v. Also with these parameters, case matters, meaning if you typed uppercase s lowercase v, it will not work because Nmap will be like, what are you using? So case matters. How you see it is how you need to type it. Okay, so we see port 21 TCP, it's open, it's FTP. Now, the version is this, VSFTPD 3.0.3. So let's do that. Okay, now from your scans, what OS type is running on the target? So what I used the last time did not work, so I am going to use -A. That's going to print everything. Okay. And again, this is throwing the kitchen sink at it, and I might have to, okay, so I'm going to remove the -PN. Now I'm going to do this again because I was noticing it was dropping. So let's see. I'm going to do the verbose only, and -A is for everything. So let's see. Okay, it's still dropping. Okay. Retrying OS detection. It's going to try it again. It's trying again. Okay. Let's see. It really didn't. Okay. So it let us know we can do anonymous FTP login. And so it's connected, logged in as FTP, data connection. Okay. So let's, well, looking at this, I see the read, write, execute, read, write, execute. So I'm going to assume this is Linux or Unix. Because for permissions, like this first dash, so for instance, if this lets us know that this is a flag, it's a file. This lets us know this is a file because there's nothing there. If it was a directory, the first position would be a D. So looking at the permissions, I could fairly confidently say this is either Linux or Unix. So I'm going to go back and I see it's 4 letters. So I'm going to type Unix. Okay. Now, submit the root flag. Now, it says here that we could do anonymous FTP login. This is bad. You should have, if anyone is using your FTP server, you should have accounts set up, real accounts. So what we're going to do, we're going to say, we're going to use the anonymous feature. So what we're going to say is FTP open or FTP, and we're going to type in the IP, or I'm going to copy it. Okay. And now, so I said FTP, and it says 2, and I'm gonna give the IP address for the server, and it says connected, and it's saying VS FTPD, so that's our version. So the name is saying, okay, are we going to use the Fluffy 007? We're not. We're going to use anonymous. Now, for the anonymous, the password can be anything. I want to type password. We're in. So that's why I was saying you should not use anonymous. This is this configuration for your FTP servers. If it has anonymous login, you need to disable that. You need to turn that off. Now, we see here remote system type is Unix. So our guess was correct. So if I type ls, which is listing, and if I say cat flag.txt, okay, so cat doesn't work. So let's say help. So then this lets us know what we can do. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the git command, and what that is going to do is it is going to download or transfer the flag.txt to from the server to our client. So it's going to take the flag.txt from the server and put a copy on my client. So I could say exit to exit FTP, and if I say ls, I should have a flag.txt. So if I say flag.txt, we have it here. And let me type that in. Okay, so the machine has terminated, and we have solved it. So we've pwned fawn. Yay! So just to recap what we did. Okay. We learned about FTP, file transfer protocol, realized it was a client server model. Then we did a Google search for the common FTP software or program, FileZilla, which is free. Next, we wanted to see the services, so we used Nmap and this didn't work because I tried to do the -O, and you need to have root or root privileges to do that. So I used sudo and then added the O and then put in my password, and then nmap executed, but it couldn't detect the OS version. So we see that here. But we noticed that FTP was on port 21. It uses TCP. Next, we were asked what is the version. The version is VSFTPD 3.0.3. Next, it was like, how can we determine if a server or a host is up? We use the ping command. We notice our packets were sent, and we could see that because when we press Control C, it gives us statistics. 4 packets transmitted, 4 received, 0 packet loss. So it all was received, sent and received successfully, and 3005 milliseconds was the time. Next, I tried to throw the kitchen sink to get the operating system, and I noticed dropping probe drops, so I stopped that. Then I did it again with removing the ping, thwarting of ping, still received it, and but throwing the kitchen sink, we noticed that we could do anonymous login, and looking at the permissions, I deduced that it was Unix or Linux. Looking at the answer, it was 4 letters. It was Unix. Next, we had to get the root, the flag. So we see here we had the flag txt, and we know we can do anonymous FTP login. So what I did next, I tried to do FTP open. I didn't put a IP address, so it didn't work. So then I just said FTP, and then FTP responded, okay, give me the IP address, which I did. And then FTP responded back and said, okay, you're connected, and here's the service. And it's saying, okay, do you want to log into this server as your current username of the Fluffy 007? And I said, no, I want to use anonymous because we have anonymous login enabled. With anonymous login enabled for a FTP server, the password can be anything. So for password, I put password, and I was successfully logged in. Then my guess of the remote system being Unix was correct because it listed that there. And then I said ls, and it provided what we had before, the flag txt. Then I was like, oh, well, let me try to use the cat command. That didn't work because cat is not on this FTP server. So then I said help to see what commands I had available. I saw git, which we can use to get a file or directory and then have a copy, transfer a copy from the server to our client, which is what I did. And it said transfer complete. Then I exited the FTP server. It said, okay, goodbye. Then I did an ls on my machine, and I saw the flag.txt, and then I opened it and got the flag. So we did a little bit more in Fawn. Still had the misconfiguration of the anonymous FTP being enabled. Again, if this was real world, you would disable that because then anybody could log into your FTP server. So I hope you learned a lot in this video, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Have a good day. Bye.